We're live.
Hi, everybody. It's just Talbot and I here at the moment. Let us know that the sound is good and you can see me. We've been shuffling stuff around for different types of filming. So always just want to make sure that. Talbot and I here at the moment. I gotta turn my laptop on. Let us know that the sound is good. Go away. Sorry about that. I have a lot of stuff around me because I was a little bit indecisive about what colors I was going to use and what I was making. But and my little kitten is just cracking me up because he keeps getting weirder and weirder. But what the goal today is to go over the process and answer any questions, or like I think some people were finding the tail a little bit tricky. So we can talk about that, and then we can make the shapes and build the structure and then focus on the face. And I can also answer questions about color combinations that you might want to try, fiber types. There's lots of options to achieve close to the same results. So we can go through what some of those options are. So yeah, I hope we can, whatever kitten you want to make, we can shed a little more sort of insight or light on the process, the techniques, and the materials. Between all of the fur that needs to be put on, the details of the face, and all the tiny toe pads, it's a bigger project than I would be able to complete in the live stream. So we'll just plug away at it and cover what we cover. Any questions so far?
They like the new background.
Oh, I know. It's very light. I'm not used to seeing it. And our little tabby kitten wants to be a tiger, so that's what the pelt is about. Aspirations. I mean, I want to be a tiger too. Who doesn't? So we have got a dream. So I'll tell you a little bit about what supplies I have around me, and then we can get started. I have the 26 gauge wire, which is super simple twisted armature that we make the plumage tail and then build our shape on. I have off-white chunky core. It really works for all the cats because we're putting so much fur on that the core wool doesn't come through anywhere. And all the cats I'm making, I've been doing white bellies, so it just works out well. I do also have some other colors of core for details. So black for eyes, and in case you're making a black cat that has markings. I have charcoal. That's a great base for darker points. Like when in the tutorial we made the tuxedo cat and or the Siamese cat, I used charcoal on the nose, and the tuxedo cat I used white on the nose. So a couple of other dark core colors, and then if you are making an orange tabby, some orangey core is helpful. So I have caramel, pumpkin, and wheat here, and I was using like different ones of those at different times, so I can show that as we go. And then also we have all of our furring options. So the supply pack has alpaca, white, gray, and black, so that you can make a tuxedo kitten and you can make a smoky, like Siamese color kitten. For the tabbies, especially the orange, we need something a little different. So I have the tabby fur, and I also have platinum fur and fawn and brown alpaca. The platinum and the fawn are super similar in color. The brown alpaca is if you wanted to take your tabby darker. Orange cats are all different shades of orange, from like cream to a like a real true deep orange. So yeah, lots of options. Serafina white is great for face and paws, and then some bunny bear is good for all the little toe pads, the little toe beans. Any questions, Talbot?
I mean, how long is the wire? But like,
Yeah,
that's once we get into the instruction.
yeah. So the 26 gauge wire that we'll be using, all of the cloth covered wires are 18 inches long. Where did they go? I found it. Yeah, so this project is like, the kitten comes together, like the shapes pretty simply. The armature is very simple. The complexity is in the fiber preparation, the amount of needle felting that it is, and the grooming. Like, you can trim, thin, reverse needle, comb, and change your kitten a lot. This one, just to show you guys, we could go overhead now too.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I will adjust this image just to
Yeah.
prove it.
I didn't get it finished, this little kitten. My workspace is just like, it looks chaotic. It's not as chaotic as it looks from the front. This I used tabby straight and the fawn alpaca straight. So it's not a the one that I made the first time around, which is gone, I think it was in the giveaway, I darkened the tabby with the brown alpaca, and then I lightened the tabby with the fawn alpaca. And those are the two mixes that I used. This is the tabby with the fawn alpaca. It's really pretty. So I kind of made a dark orange and a light orange. Why is this it's being loud? So that was one way to go. Today, I was just going to use this straight tabby and alpaca and have these be my stripes to save time, because blending all the fiber takes a lot of time. So I switched to a simpler strategy. The other possibility is tabby and white. So that will give you a really distinct stripe. I was a little more nervous about that for some reason, so I didn't do it. But this is all furred and then trimmed and then thinned. And the shorter you trim it, the more you're going to see the stripes. I don't really care with this project, with this kitten, that it be some certain markings. I'm just trying to get a look or some variation. You could go tabby and black alpaca and white alpaca and make a calico. That would be fun. You could do an orange cat with more black and have a tortoise shell. So not sure what kinds of kittens you guys are planning on making, whether it's today or when you revisit the project. But hopefully whatever I do today can show you a little bit more about color blending.
There's a question on just how long it takes to make a kitten.
Yeah, it takes a while. I started this yesterday morning, and I thought to myself, oh, I'll make a kitten today. to be ready for tomorrow. And it didn't work all day yesterday, but I'd say this is a good 2 to 3 hours of work. I mean, they take a little bit because of all the details, even though they're small. But they're so much fun, and I love, like, you can make them sitting, you can make them curled up, you can have the open paw, the closed paw, open eyes, closed eyes. So we should get started because I could talk about it for a long time. And but what we really need to do is make one. Oh, and that's the other thing, is the fiber prep is sort of half of it, So let's take a poll real quick. Like I said, this is white paws, white belly, and then the tabby and fawn, alpaca. Is there anything that we want to do today? Okay, let's say, well, I could do orange and white, which I would be the guinea pig for a more extreme color stripe. We could do I think most people, if you might have prepared for an orange tabby, but we could do a gray tabby. So shoot out in the comments real quick if there's anything specific you would like to see. And then I'll try to do it.
I feel like YouTube used to have a poll.
Oh, yeah?
I feel like we did that before, and now I'm not seeing it.
But I think, we probably should stick with orange just because I think that's what most people prepared for. And then you could apply it to, but I'm just curious. What you guys are curious to see. I made the smoky and the tuxedo, and a lot of people were just saying, how did you do the tabby? Again, there's a whole bunch of ways to get to that result, but yeah, see, like these have the darker orange and the cream and a creamy orange. That's what I was going for. That one's all oranges, no white. That is super cute, the orange. I think that's what we should do.
It's tied at the moment.
Between
a gray and an orange and white.
Yeah.
But I feel like orange and white's going to be
yeah,
okay.
I think we should do orange and white.
Just for variety's sake from the tutorial. Wow.
It's so cute. Okay. All right, yes, let's do orange. Okay. Adorable. Okay, I'm going to do a white tip tail. Oh, you found the poll. Yeah. We weren't asking for real anyway. So, like I said, fiber prep is like a big part of this. So I'm going to do a white tip tail. So I'm going to use my white alpaca. You could also use Arctic, but I feel like the alpaca, it just furs out really easily. It's very consistent. That's why we went with the alpaca for the kitten project. And then we have to cut this in half because we can get double the amount of distance. And I'm going to add it to my prior white pile. We'll use this along the way in a few places. On this tail, it's so ratty looking right now. I did a white tip, needs to be groomed. And then this, I started out using the darker orange and the lighter orange, but I am today just going to use the tabby fur and the fawn alpaca. So we want to get those ready too, because I'm going to alternate as I make the twists. So I'm going to pull, you just grab the tips and pull so that you get only one staple length. And then cut this in half. Tell that my desk is crooked.
Yeah, I was just gonna zoom in.
I don't like it. Yeah, zoom in a little.
But the remote is not doing anything.
Let me see. When I use this, I've got to be like right under it. There we go. Whoops. I think it's better. We'll know in 15 seconds.
It's a little better.
I can go.
A little bit more.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
That's great.
And then fawn. The delay on my stream is
Very long.
very long.
The wire is a cloth covered 26 gauge.
Yes. I have black here, but white would probably be better. So I have my little fiber piles ready. And I find the center of the wire. And I'm going to make a white tail tip. So I'm going to start with that. And while the fiber's in my hand, I'm just going to pull 3 sections. And it's not as fine as the plumage technique, but you don't want great big chunks either because they won't stay. They won't stay in. Now, if you were having trouble getting things to be sticky, you could tacky wrap your wire a little bit. But I pinch it as tight as I can. In fact, I try to kind of overlap the wires and then give it a twist so that that is as tight as it possibly can be. Pliers can help you. So this is where, white wire wouldn't show as much.
G. Griffin asks, could you do the tail last so it wouldn't be messed up while you were making the body?
Not with the way that we're doing it. You could. I love that it's all on one wire because then it's staying together. It's all integrated. You could make a plumage tail and just stick it on. Yeah. But it's not hard to fix regroom it. And each twist, I go about 1.5 because that offsets these little fiber clusters so that they're a little bit staggered and not all lined up. And now I'm going to switch. I'm going to do like 2 fawn, 2 orange, 2 fawn, 2 orange. So we're having a nice cool down here. It's, I don't know, today's like 80 degrees, but a little bit overcast. We had a hot spell there. That's a little bit thick.
Could you mix a bit of fawn and orange in one bundle to give more variation?
You can, which is what this is, but as it is, it already will look less distinguished. So if you add a mix of the two, it kind of you run the risk of it becoming no variation. Do you know what I mean? Like okay, back to fawn. If you exaggerate the like have these wide apart and really twist it hard, that's really gonna lock the fibers down. I also might be putting just a little bit too much. I remember when we did the tutorial, because I had to rewatch it so that I remembered what to do. But Kyla did a lot of fiber preparation for me, because it is all the little noodles and cutting all the fur in half and blending colors. So I want to go until I have about, I'd say 5 inches of wire left.
Yeah, that kind of that should help Diane Baven, because she was asking how much wire should be left after you finish the tail.
Yeah, so you can see how easy it is to find the center, which is what we do when we make a feather. But when we want it to be a plume, we want this to get dispersed all the way around. So we will spin it and brush it, and it'll help with that. Yeah, I think 5 inches of wire left is good. This kitten got like big. They don't need to be so big.
Is there a name for the stage between a kitten and a cat?
Like a teenage,
like a
teenage
toddler. You know, we have a lot of descriptions for people.
Yeah, I don't know. I always say teenager when I'm referring to like a puppy or a kitten that's not like a 1-year-old, you know? Mm. So I don't know. I'd be curious to know. A tween. Okay, I think that is good. Yep, 5 inches. And then the rest of the wire, you just want to twist together. Gently, it doesn't have to be a strong twist. We're just trying to hold it together. Oh my gosh. Fiber, fiber. And now we're gonna make a potato. And we could wait to groom and trim this until the end, or until a little farther along. That way it's not getting messed up. You could even, some people like get a little bit of plastic wrap and you could wrap this up, you know, while you're working elsewhere. So now I need my off-white chunky core, and I want to work with about a 12-inch piece, and I like to quarter it. And the first one we just want to get some fiber on here. So I'm just going to go down the wire. It probably works better because this wire will move around if you try to wrap your ribbon around it. It might work better to twist, to spin the actual wire. But whichever technique you use, try to get it, I'm just going to bend that end over, try to get it as tight as possible. It's always a little wacky when you go down and back because it bubbles up on itself. And then we want to wrap it. I think it helps to get everything tight and uniform to put it against a tool. So like if I use the face ace, I can have the tail hanging off the end. And now I have the structure of the tool to pull against and get this really tight. So we're going for, I think I'd use the example of a sweet potato. But we're definitely going to use all of these 12-inch pieces of core and maybe even more. We gotta make you look cute while you're laying there. Yeah, I'm gonna get another 12-inch piece. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. And it's time I'm just gonna split it in half. Now, this core is particularly light. So depending on what you're using, your amounts might be different. You feel it, it's like it's super soft and
yeah,
it's interesting.
I mean, it feels dense though.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a cool technique with the face ace.
Yeah. Gives you something to pull against. Because otherwise the wire just moves around in space. Okay, I'll put this last one on. I want to make sure I get the head area good. And then it can be a little thicker in the middle and then tapering towards the tails. And then just stab it a little bit. It gets so much stabbing. So if it's wrapped tightly, you won't need to stab it a ton because you don't want to overstab and not be able to put your shapes on and your fur. That's it. It is, let's see, it is 1.5 inches in diameter and it is 5 inches long. Any questions?
Well, Paint Pal Sue just says she's feeling so happy because she's listening along to Sarah and myself. So
awesome. I like it. I was talking to a friend yesterday about the pandemic era and how I felt really fortunate to have the purpose that I had in, that's when the Felt Along started.
Yeah,
and
you
so
did a lot of
keeping everybody
chats.
like company and getting everybody together, and I felt very, very lucky that was my situation, or that I had that ability anyway. And I'm glad that it's still a thing because I do really like it. I like making the tutorials, but and I wish I could hear everybody's voices and we could really just just talk, but at least the kind of interaction we can have during a live stream is I really do enjoy it. And I usually go back and watch and see because I know you guys are talking to each other a lot more than you're talking to me. So I go back and see what everybody's saying. All right, now we need to make some simple shapes for the head. And again, I'm going to get 12 inches or so.
And just a quick, what's the length of just the tail portion?
The tail is also, if I go down to the wire, here's the wire right here. That's only 3 inches.
Okay.
But it's going to look more like 5 or 6. Because of the fur.
Mm-hmm. Sorry to put you off track.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Okay, so let's quarter this. Talbot, will you do me a favor? Mm-hmm. I don't know why I don't like this. There's a bunch of off-white chunky core in that. Just grab another one. Not that one. I get all the...
This one's more cream.
No, I don't want that one. How about that one? Too thin?
It's about the same.
All right, I'll try this. This is a little not so chunky, so I'm only going to split it in half. But we need 4 12-inch pieces is what we need. And when you see the shape, you're gonna know what to do. But I love this part because this is just like the head comes together pretty easily. Starts to anyway. And then on the flat part of the Zuli tool, we're going to wrap just ever so slightly. It's not really a travel. It's just a little bit of back and forth. So you're still staying within an 1.5 inches, I'd say. We're going to do that 4 times. Yeah, so I'm doing like just a little overlap that way and then a little overlap that way. And anytime you're wrapping, whether it's wire or the tool, if you can taper your edge and keep those fibers going around, it's going to adhere in a very smooth way. You don't want to end with a big chunk that has nowhere to go. So I'm always drafting, helps it stay smooth and tight. One more. So now we have 4 shapes. Oh, they're pretty uniform. One is going to go across the back of the head. And oh my gosh, we have a Kyla. And some dogs. And all the energy.
I gotta get out of here.
Hello.
I knew I would be a bit of a disruption for a minute.
That's all right. Everybody will be excited that you're here. What do you think we heard, Talbot? The car door, the first thing?
I took off the date.
Ah, that's what it was. Because we heard a really distinct noise. And we both looked over there and didn't see anything.
How's it going?
It's.
You have a floof on a.
I have floof everywhere.
Like a
It's
fishing lure.
It does look like
it's attached to me. It's all over the table. It's on my shirt. It's in my coffee.
Here's Talbot. Thank you.
Okay, so this first piece goes on around the back of the head, and that gives our head some depth. So the tapered edges just get tacked on the sides of the head. Hopefully you guys watched the tutorial as well, because I definitely needed a refresher. So from the top, it's even. It's completely on the back. This is going to be his face, and it just ends on each side. You're going to use Talbot's laptop?
I am. Is that okay? A tiger in the background.
I know. I said our Tabby wants to be a tiger.
Yes.
I feel like there's a kitten or a meme or something about.
Thinking it's a tiger.
Did I say kitten? A cartoon or a meme. Yeah, about a kitten that wants to be a tiger. Okay, and then the other two pieces, let's find two pieces. They're going to be cheeks. And you're going to save one for the nose. Make sure the one for the nose is really uniform. I'm going to use that one. My noses always get too big. So sometimes when I pull a shape off the tool, one end is more tapered and one end is a little more blunt. And so I kind of want to work with that and even exaggerate it. So the cheeks, the tapered end is going to go over the top of the head, and the blunt end is going to stay blunt and end on the side. Woohoo! So I'm not trying I'm not trying to taper this end, but I am tapering the top end. So always with our shapes, we make the shapes because we want them to work for us and make our job easier and not be fighting. So tapered end over the head. So this was his, like, these are the Princess Leia poofs, kind of. And then keep this more distinguished by felting it in on itself a little bit more.
Yeah, looks great.
Thank you. I decided to simplify the colors and just use straight tabby and alpaca.
Okay.
All right, now this is the fun / hard part. The nose, we're going to use this to create the majority of the muzzle. So to start, stab your blunt end back gingerly on itself. We're trying to create uniformity, so I'm tapping a little more lightly than I usually do to ensure that everything is staying even and I'm not making a big dent or, doing anything crazy. Just want to get a little bit more firmness to it before we put it in place. And then this is how the face ace was. This was the flat part. I could just tell, like, that's how I wrapped it. So I want to, when I put it on, I want to create a little nose bridge by coming in at these sides more instead of making this all flat like Squidward. I don't know if that's who it is, but it's
That's a good reference.
sort of
It is,
reminded me.
it is.
We want to come in at the sides and have this become a muzzle. So that's what I'm thinking as I'm stabbing. This is where the eyes go, and I am stabbing. I'm stabbing inward to create the nose bridge. But this piece is this whole muzzle.
Does your pen tool have 2/38 in it?
It does.
Okay. So I'm at-
Now, for this project, I hardly ever use 36s, but I do have one 36
Okay.
because when you go to make dents, attach fur, like really get those paw pads, there's a few times that it's definitely handy to have the 36.
And you often have just 2 in your pen tool, not 3.
I almost always anymore just have 2. I find it's easier to stab. So I've been having a little bit of trouble with my arm, and 3, it just takes that much more force. And with armatures, etc., I like having the linear
Rather than
versus the
triangle.
triangle. Yeah. Now, if I were making something huge and I needed to like cover more ground, and then I might put 3 in it.
I would offer to stab for you. Save your arm.
Oh, that's nice. You
If
do
make
stab
something-
for
if you make
me.
something huge, I will stab for you.
The blanket. Did I tell you the blanket? People said I could bring needle felting, so
You texted me that.
Yes,
We have
so-
not talked about it yet. Huh.
that inspires me to want to make something extra special,
Oh.
which I do not have time to do. You guys, we have so much good stuff planned for you. I know it might seem quiet lately, but there's a lot of good stuff happening. So to get an idea of where we're headed with this, I'm going to switch to the 36 and I'm going to make the dents. I'm going to start making the dents. And having a reference image is really helpful because you can really see where you're going. So we want to the center. I'm going to try and angle this so you can see. And then we want a mouth. So it's like an upside down Y. And then, this is too strong. And then we want a right side up Y.
A right side up Y. An actual Y.
A Y.
Also known as a Y.
We're making an X with a waist.
Okay.
Yes. Onto that model. Look, it already looks like a kitten.
Talbot's not convinced. Yes, you're not wrong. If you just look at the muzzle.
Oh gosh. Okay. So we want to make a joiner for, this is too much space here. So we want to make a little joiner. So I'm going to take a little 2-inch piece of core and split it in half. Now remember, mine's thin, so you might need to quarter it. And then I think I'll put a little bit of Serafino white on top of it. you could just use core. It's gonna get colored. And then we're gonna do a double decker taco. So I'm gonna stab at about a third of the way down, fold it over, stab a 1/2 inch, and then fold that back up. I'm so glad you're here, Kyla.
I'm glad I'm here. I'm decompressing a little
Yeah.
bit, but I'm here.
Yeah. So this gives us, it's nice. It's like somewhere between a tool shape and a hand rolled shape. It's like got a little give to it, which we need, but not super mushy. And then this can go from the muzzle to the cheek. I'm going to slant it just a little bit because I'm thinking about the shape of the eye. So I'm just slanting it up a little as it goes back and stabbing the fringe down.
It's cute already.
That needle's a little strong, I feel like. Maybe it would help to get the eyes in there. I don't remember the steps that I did. But things right now are real like shifty. So you gotta be aware and stab. Don't let it like maintain control, is all I'm saying. Don't let it get away from you. This little core kitten turd that's in front of you right now.
Did you call it a turd?
I did call it a turd. It's a little turd-like at the moment. It's gonna get better. I feel like my shapes maybe got a little too big. Cause this guy, his head's a little chunky, but I really like the shape of his head. It's a cute little face. You're gonna have a friend. Yeah, let's put some eyes in there. I put an eye no matter what, even if I'm doing closed eyes, because that makes your closed eyes more realistic. You need the bulk of the eyeball in there. So I'll use black just in case we make open eyes, which I'm not going to make open eyes because closed eyes are so much easier.
They're cute.
I like this look, so I did one closed and then I did like half an open eye.
Okay.
But when you make their eye, I don't know, we'll see. I'll use black and then we'll figure it out. So I have about a 3-inch piece, and I'm gonna pull off 2 sort of 1/2-inch sections. I don't know. It's like thirds maybe. Got it into thirds. And then I'm gonna wrap the face ace a few dots up and try to just really keep it together so that I have as much of a sphere as possible and not an oblong. This might be a little bit much wool. It's all right. We're going to make it work. Yeah, these are definitely large peas. So that's what I'm going to say.
They're possibly more lima beanie.
Well, I'm trying to avoid lima bean. Because I want them round.
I don't mean lima bean in shape. I mean in size.
It's like a chickpea.
More of a chickpea.
It is.
than a
That's a
pea.
good. I'm
It's
okay
a
with chickpea.
It's a garbanzo bean.
A chichi bean, as if you have an Italian grandmother. She used to make these pastries called St. Joseph pants.
St. Joseph pants.
St. Joseph was a chickpea filling
In a pastry?
in a
I'm
pastry.
intrigued.
Talbot, will you Google it? It's Italian, I think.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Saint Joseph.
but the Italian Americans, they had weird names for all kinds of stuff that,
Saint Joseph's pants or Josephine pants?
well, my grandmother was Josephine.
So did she call him Saint Josephine?
No, she's she got St. Joseph's pants.
Here's Joseph's pants. Cavazzone.
Cabazune. And then you deep fried them. And she flavored them with orange zest, which to my palate is a... So she and Beth were making them, and I was like, oh, I tasted it, and I was like, I don't like the orange zest. I've always been that way. And so then I left, and I came back, and my grandma would always try to make me happy. Like, if I said I didn't like the seeds in the tomatoes, she was like scooping seeds. She really, she loved to feed us. And I came back, and they were like, we made them chocolate. And I was like, oh, you made chocolate ones? Like, that sounds good. Which, by the way, now I think I should maybe try. And, but they just put cocoa and chocolate into the orange zest ones.
Oh, you can still taste.
Oh, absolutely. They did not fool me at all. So I hope they enjoyed them because I didn't eat them. But why are we telling the story? Oh, because of the chickpeas. Oh, I like it. Okay, so we put this double-decker taco on the sides, and now I'm going to take my strong needle and make that little smile go farther back.
You're not alone in your orange zest issues.
Yeah.
Diane Baven says she gets nauseous when she eats orange flavored food.
Like, don't ruin a muffin.
What about like a cranberry orange?
Oh, that's exactly the not.
All right.
Yeah. I have, I eat a lot of things, but that one for some reason just, it's not a flavor I enjoy. I gotta make this little nose scoop. I'm felting in here to get the nose narrower and scoopier.
We have an ET reference at the moment. Someone's feeling that vibe.
Let's put, I don't usually do this, but I'm going to put a piece of core over the back. I feel like when we go to put the ears and stuff on, it'll just make it easier. I don't want to risk the whole head getting too big. So how many people are felting and how many people are chilling and how many people should be working?
Are they going to out themselves like that?
Yeah. Maybe not. This is one of those things where you ask a survey question and you never get honest answers. Yeah, super wacky looking right now. It's like cute, then it's wacky, then it's cute, then it's wacky.
We have a lot of watchers.
Okay.
Somebody is canning and making pies.
Ooh.
Hopefully not a pie with orange in it.
My grandma used to can jelly and preserve, and I didn't learn all of those things. I know I could.
Somebody's making mice for the cats, for the kittens to play with.
That's a fun idea. Let's I'm gonna make this one a curled up one. So the next thing we want to do is make two little thighs and what?
Somebody's listening while she's working.
Okay.
I am that one.
And I have 10 inches and I'm splitting it in half or quarters. And just like we made the those face shapes, we want to do the same thing and make a rectangle on the flat part of the Zuli tool. This is what we do when we make the mice too, and the sleepy bunnies.
Homemade butterscotch meringue pie.
What?
I know.
I've never heard of such a thing. That sounds amazing. Our address is okay. These go on the sides, and one side can taper up towards the body, and the bottom side can be more blunt. So I'll put these on and a belly, and then I'm going to wrap the whole thing. And then voila, no more ET. Well, it's ish. Might still have a little embryo effect. So I'm not worried about stabbing too much because it's going to get wrapped. Now on the sleepy ones, I like to make a belly. So I'm going to take 8 to 10 inches. Make sure you split it in half if your core is chunkier than mine. And then I'm just going to roll like a 2-inch wide belly. And then I want it to taper under the chin and be broader at the bottom.
If she could mail you a pie, she would. Does a meringue need to be refrigerated usually?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has anyone seen Romulus yet? What's that?
Is it a show?
It's a movie about Alien,
Oh,
like the Alien trilogy.
all right.
Oh,
we're
is it
still
in-
we're still feeling a little alien-y on.
I
eyeballs.
gotcha.
It's always the eyeballs.
It's really weird looking in the overhead
Yeah.
right now. Now I'm going to wrap this whole thing. It's getting away from me. I know I said in the tutorial, just be careful it doesn't get
Too big?
too big. This is about half of a 12-inch piece or a quarter.
We appear to mostly have watchers.
Good. Then we can just chat.
Some
Everybody's
some eating ice cream.
oh.
Hopefully no one actually hiding in the bathroom at work.
It's going to be adorable. Let's make a brow, kind of like we did the cheek piece. Now, here's where we decide if the eyes are opened or closed. We'll do one eye open and one eye closed. So for the open eye, we want to make the eye first because we need to be able to reach it all, and then we'll put the brow on. That will be more realistic. I like the blue with the orange mixed in, actually. So I take some blue and I try to break it down. I kind of want some yellow. I wonder how wheat would look in here. Let's try it.
Did you do open eyes in the tutorial, in the video?
Yes.
Yeah.
My table's very creaky today.
Yeah, it must be sitting on a plank.
Sitting something weird. How does everybody like our backdrop? We've transported
It's very fancy.
to Tuscany. So, whatever color you want, break it up until it's very fuzzy and workable. I was going for a green, but it's not really green. It's just sort of, now it's just gray blue, but that's okay too. And then get yourself a little, you know, 1/2-inch section and stab it. Stab it on in there. We're going to go back around with black and then make a black center, also known as the pupil. Now what does it look like? So just twist a thin little piece of black and we'll go right around the outside. I'm coming in from the edge of my chickpea a little bit because I know that I'm making the eye a little smaller. The whole iris. Like if I put the black all the way out on the edge with this size I made these eyes, it would be way too weird. And then
Gigantic eyes.
it would be gigantic. And then I just want to put a little bit in the middle. And I'm going to go with slightly vertical. They do all different kinds of things, but it's cat-like to be a little bit vertical.
It does look like eyeliner.
And then we definitely want a little bit of Serafina white dot.
It's 7 p.m. in South Africa.
South Africa, awesome.
Ingrid is watching from there.
Awesome. I have never been to the African continent. I would like to do that someday. There are 56 countries in Africa.
Maps and I are, it's not a strength.
Many. 50 some. I think it's 50 some. Talbot's Googling.
54.
54! I was close. Alright, we have a little bit of like a Halloween-y, like something. This could be a whole style. Let's get the little pink nose on. With an inch square of bunny bear, I want to make a little triangle. And I think it's easier just to stab the triangle. Sometimes I fold it in my hands, but you run the risk of it not having enough structure. probably should have explained that. When we make a little triangle, you want the fiber, in this case, to be going across side to side. And then I stab the center line. Sometimes we need bulk at the tip, so you fold that back, but we don't really need that because when you angle the two sides in, it's going to create a little bit of bulk. So when you fold the sides in, you come at an angle and you let all the fibers overlap in the middle, and that gives you a nice, even, consistent triangle. My first one was better. And then the tip of this, we want to put at the top of the waist of the, where did that come from? At the waist of the Y. Like their little nose comes down and then it goes flat on top. So you're folding this triangle to make a little point. Let's see a good example. And then we're going to stab the little nostrils in, and then we're going to bring the fur color down onto the top of the nose. Oh,
So cute.
cute.
You could make that one.
That's going to be my example. And I'm not too worried about how far back the pink goes because I'm going to cover it up, so. But with my strong needle, I can get those nostrils in there. I love this part. It makes me feel very accomplished.
You really have that going. The eyes very similar to that picture.
Oh, good, except we're going to close one. Let's put the pink in the mouth also. They always have a little bit of their pink lips showing. So I'm going to twist a little 2-inch piece in my fingers and then just try to outline the mouth. Oh, that's the strong needle. Sometimes the strong needle is not the right needle for the job.
A tongue blip? Is that what it's called?
A what?
Tongue blip?
Tongue blip?
What's that?
I don't know.
Maybe it's blep. Wait.
Now, if your little muzzle shapes aren't great, you know, if you feel like you need more chin or whatever it is that you think you need, you can just add it.
Blepping in cats refers to the cute and endearing behavior of a cat sticking its tongue out.
Never heard of blepping.
Huh.
I don't know if it needs that yet, but that's what you would do. You would just make a little piece and then let's stick it on there.
They're enjoying the expression that you have going.
Yeah, it's cute so far. I always mess it up, but let's enjoy it. Let's enjoy it for now. One of the dangers is with all the front felting it's like I can't talk today. I don't know what I just said. Front felting.
Oh, the front felting.
Okay, I said that.
Uh-huh.
Thought maybe I said front felting.
Well, yeah.
That it gets smooshed. But I like this little orange cat in the picture, the way it's more like smoosh faced. Okay, let's make the brows, and I'm just going to make them in white because I can always tone them in some way. This kitten has a lot of cream. It doesn't have the white. I don't feel like I have exactly the right color for that, so I think I'll do white around the face. So I'll just use off-white chunky core instead of Serafina white. And if we take like a 1/2 inch piece, a 2-inch 1/2 inch piece, we're gonna make a double-decker taco just like we did the cheeks, but it doesn't need to be that big. Another option would be to wrap the we could wrap the face ace about halfway. So if we get around 1, 2.5, then that gives us basically the same thing as a double-decker taco. Fringe and bulk. All right. This one ended up wacky. Let me do it again. I think it's important not to struggle with a bad shape. It's like such a small amount of wool. I would just make it again. Yeah. Okay, so I think they're the same size. I was gonna say if one's a little bigger, I would use it on the closed eye. But on the closed eyes, I need another one. Oh, I'll use my bad one. Okay, one piece goes like this, kind of angled down and up to the corner, and another piece almost makes like a little sunshiny, little upside down shape. So from inside corner to outside corner. And then when the eye is closed, we add another one that goes from inside corner to outside corner, but it's also arced into that first piece. And it's cool to have the black eyeball in there because that automatically creates the squinty eye look. And then on this one, we're just going over the eye from the outside corner and then like meld into the bridge of the nose. And then I'll decide if it needs a lower lid or not. But to get cat-like the lower lid comes up. The outside corner of the eye is high. So that helps make it cat-like. Where are we on time? Ooh, 2:17. I feel like I should just work on the head and getting the stripes on versus like like the little feet they just take so long. And furring the whole thing out takes so long. So any questions about this process so far? Everybody's just hanging out, pretty much.
I think so. We'll see if anyone has questions.
I don't know where he's going, but I dig it. Okay. This is kind of a good example too, because he's got I'm going to zoom out just a tiny bit to help it. It's got the stripes. Okay. So in the orange, I want to start laying in some stripes around the face, and I made some mixes. I don't have like the perfect orange color in core. The tabby is very vibrant, but some of these orange kitties, they are that real ginger orange. We have the orange from our supply pack. This is marigold. So this with some pumpkin and some wheat is nice. We can try that. I also have Vixen here, but I feel like Vixen is a little more muted. We can put a little bit of it in and see what happens. Let's just put this stuff on the hand carders and see what we get.
Justine definitely wants to see how to color the face.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, the paws on the tutorial, we did a lot of different things, and I think it's pretty straightforward. Okay, this is kind of a random bunch. I have pumpkin, wheat, marigold, and Vixen. I have very dirty hand carders. But I think the hand carders will be handy for this because we do really want to blend it together a good bit. And then I'm going to take some of this and I'm going to lighten it with, just lean it more towards the wheat so that we have that more creamy color.
Someone's asking, when I make the kitten, should I watch your earlier fuzzy kitten tutorial first for the feet, etc., and then rewatch this again?
I would totally go with the kitten tutorial. If you want to make an orange tabby, if you haven't made a kitten before, it's great just to make one. Just make one. In the tutorial, we do the tuxedo and the Siamese. So having that under your belt would be great. And then come back to this. Yeah, that's how I would do it. So that's a nice color. It's a little bright. I feel like maybe I should put some caramel into it. You know what I mean? Like needs to come down a notch. So I'm going to take some of this and caramel. I wish we had the perfect cat color core.
Perfect color.
But we don't have, as many colors as we have, depending on what you're making, you're going to have to mix. We try to make a lot. This is better. The hand carders are great because when you're mixing core and like, this had the Shetland and the Merino. It really can pull it all together, whereas hand blending gets a little tiring and hard to get it to blend well. And then this other bit of the orange that we made, I'm just going to put more wheat into it so that it's lighter. And maybe a teeny bit of caramel just so that it also gets toned richer. This will make me hot.
Got some short fiber in there with the core.
Yeah, it is. It's real fuzzy. So almost all tabby kittens, I think, have this M on their heads. So that's a good place to start. See,
Yellow was wheat core, right?
wheat. See his little M right there? Let's find more. He doesn't have an M really. He's got like just lines coming in. That is just the cutest thing. Oh my gosh, look at his little face. I want to make that one.
Little eyes.
It's like an extreme triangle. He's got the M. All right, well, it's a place to start. I don't know if they all have it or not, but it's a good place to start. So that little kitten was like real triangle-y. I'm gonna try it. So he was like less down here, and then his ears came. Right out.
Use wheat on the chick, or we use more of a chick yellow? This is
Chick yellow.
More of a caramely wheat. Not to can be confused with caramel.
Well, wheat got reformulated, so this is the current wheat.
Okay.
Chick yellow is lighter and yellower.
Mm-hmm.
This is caramel.
Okay.
This is pumpkin.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I got I think on my other guy, I just used pumpkin mainly. Let's get his little nose covered. I'm going to go in the darker orange. Coming right down to the edge of that nose. Maybe coming down the sides of the face a little bit. And then up the center of the forehead. Just like if you just keep it little thin, wispy, then you're gonna have an easier time with like blending and stuff. And the reverse needle is great. It's great to use on this project. And then this lighter color, I'm going to blend a little in my hand. We're going to bring under the eyes and out the cheeks. Leaving that little white lid, I like that. I'm just letting that meet the nose, the darker nose color. So these, I mean, they can be any kind of way. That's the thing. So we're going to do this demonstration, but their coloring can go all kinds of ways. And then let's take a little bit of the darker color and go right off the brow here. So I'm leaving this little light spot, but I'm coming kind of where the eyeball ends to the inside. And then same thing over here. For now, I'm going to leave this fringe sticking up because they get fur on the back of their head. What's happening?
It just looks funny.
And then let's do the lighter one. Well, let's go ahead and do the darker one again, coming out from here. No. I keep changing my mind. Let's do it coming off the corner of the eyes. It's hard to see when it's like if I work here, then the angle isn't great. And then the lighter one we'll take right here.
That's a cool process to watch.
And then I want 2 more dark spots on the forehead here. 1, 2. I'm going to take this at an angle towards the middle and then have it come out and meet this one off the eye. All right, let's make some ears. I think when the ears are on, and then we'll know where we need to fill in. Funny. Okay. You can use just pumpkin, or if you feel like you have enough of this mix, you can use the mix. I mean, we're pretty much done with it. Like, we might use a little bit of it on a leg or something, but you need, either way, you need a 2-inch square. And then I like to put Bunny Bear. Well, I have this. No, I'll just use Bunny Bear. Bunny Bear inside the ear. Actually, do one vertical just to counteract the strength of the fiber going across, and do one across. And then we're gonna punch tool the heck out of it. Aw, they're little friends over there.
One's encouraging the other to hang on.
I know. Don't lose hope. She'll fix you. Then she might leave you on a shelf for 3 years without your feet. You could work on pre-felt with this, but lots of ways to achieve the flat felted ear. I was folding, I've done where I fold them, but I think I'm going to cut it. Just make sure that you can, you've got the structure real good. I like to put them together when I cut it, just so that I know that I'm making them both the same. And I just make a nice broad triangle. It's not, because I usually end up trimming them again. Not quite so pointy on the top. But I try to keep as much width around the bottom as I can. And then we really want the ear to come around from the side, kind of even with the side of the eye, around to the top of the head, over, I'd say, the center to the outside of the eye, and try to curve it. give it that fold. You don't want it stuck up against the back of the head really flat. So you're really rounding it around the side of the face here. And I'm just using the bottom edge to get it all stuck. I like that one kitten that I liked. His ears kind of stuck off, really stuck off to the side, kind of like that. Oh. So I'm going to try that. So the ear is even with the outside corner of the eye in terms of placement, and then it comes around.
Have you ever wet felted ears?
Only when we were wet felting like a whole skin, like in the rhino or dragon or something. I mean, the dragons don't get. Did the dragons get ears? I think the dragons didn't get ears.
They horns.
I like it. Okay. In the tutorial and currently, I used the fur on the top and side of the head. We furred out the face. I did on this guy as well. I ended up trimming it like a lot. So my next step is going to be to start adding fur, and then once those are in place, then I can bring everything together. I can combine the stripes with the fur. I do just want to stab these poofs in a little bit so that it looks more like... Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stab some charcoal in there so that it looks more like the ear is deep. Yeah, I think that's going to help with the the look of it. This kitten's head is like as big as my real grown cat's head. Ah, well.
So funny. Ceramorphosis. Voila, Bonnie Roberts says. Ceramorphosis.
Voila. If only.
The kitten does look like Gizmo from Gremlins at the moment.
Yeah. I like it. I like it. Okay, here we go. Kyla is going to be so kind as to make
Yes.
a few little pumpkin noodles for me
Oh.
and a few off-white wheat noodles.
Like that-ish size?
Yes, very, yeah, real, like on the small side. And I'm going to pull a little bit more of my you know, tabby, and cut it. More tabby. Here it is.
Actually, how long? Are these too long?
Yeah, half that.
Half that.
I work in little like 1-inch sections. Oh, I like this kitten. I like it when I like it. Okay. I'll go right in the middle of the head. Thank you. Lovely.
You're gonna do one color then the other color? Like, do you need some of both?
I need a little bit of both.
If you have a potential noodle construction person at home,
It is lovely. It is.
enlist them.
Because otherwise you're trying to go back and forth.
I feel like they're kind of big, but
I think I'm trying to decide whether I want. Well, I'll just continue on. Okay, so this one I'm gonna go off of this. Just alternate, just alternate between the tabby and the fawn. You'll see it come together. It really can be anything.
Well, the camera's low.
oh no!
It's on the same board.
I'm making the whole Earth move
Technically,
for the camera
we all
roll.
do.
What?
We all do.
We all make the Earth move?
I mean, at such an infinitesimal scale, but
All right.
technically.
Thank you for making me feel better. Because everyone's nauseated.
That's good. That's good. Thank you.
Great. I think I hit it again with my head. Oh yeah.
That's all right. Between my head being in the shot, the earth moving. All right, so I have 3 tabby fur poofs. Oh my gosh. And now I'm going to put fawn fur poofs. And I think I'm going to put a fawn fur poof right here. Also, well, I guess that should be tabby. I keep going back and forth on that. It should be tabby.
Did you put?
Here's a reference no one will get.
Okay.
The kitten looks like Vivian from The Young Ones.
The young
Vivian
ones.
from the Young Ones.
No. Is this your reference, Talbot? Or somebody else's?
Oh, yeah, I'm making the reference.
You're making the reference.
Can we use the noodles used to sell? Does someone have the woodles?
There'll be.
Split them apart.
You'd have to split them. Yeah. Now, whenever we have a fur fold joining up with not fur fold, you have to blend it. So just some loose fiber going over that, hiding that fold is good. Should do it. All right, over to the fawn.
Ooh, there's a couple people with woodles. Break them down.
Has anybody looked up Vivian yet?
Just the so you can see it.
I'm in love with this kitten, by the way.
Oh wow.
His name's Vivian?
Yeah.
Yes.
It is a sketch comedy British.
That is what this looks like.
Young people?
The young ones.
The young ones.
Young people.
Wow, that made me sound like an old person. Was Vivian cat or human? Vivian was human.
Male.
Also, the mom from Rugrats, if her hair,
She did.
she had that hair, right? Except it was not this color. Your color was spot on. Do you need more of these? I keep making them.
Okay, we're good. We're good.
The name of the fibers that you use for this project, you put on the Serafina Fiber Art Facebook page,
I
right?
did, but I added more. Like so I mean, I've been talking about them this whole time. So if anybody's just joining in, they could rewatch. But it's hard to say
Right.
because I didn't make a supply pack and
Right.
you know, to say just only use this, this, and this. You can use anything that achieves the results that you want, and there's a lot of ways to get to it. So I did make a list. It was in conjunction with our post about the July sale.
I think once this is over, we can edit the description to add a list of suggested
Sure.
supplies.
If you want to write it down while I name it off, I'll do that verbally.
Yep. Now I feel like I'm gonna make everything shake.
Okay, so all I'm doing is now I'm putting fawn poofs in between the, like I'm going to put one here, I'm going to put one here, and then I'm going to switch probably back to orange on the cheeks. So you're just trying to create some variety on the head here and alternate. And then as crazy as it is, it will all get trimmed and tamed. That's the thing about like the fur technique, especially when you have to cut it all off, is it's a lot of work. And then
Someone is
a lot of it
interested in
changes.
seeing your scissor work to tame.
Okay, yes, we'll do that for sure. Okay, so we have off-white chunky core is a must. Black core and Serafina white. Well, yeah, you need some black core for the eyes. If you're making an orange tabby, get yourself a variety of, I'm using caramel, pumpkin, and wheat core. And I'm using tabby fur and fawn alpaca.
Okay.
And then, you know, you could use some white alpaca. It
Like
just depends on what you wanna have.
And the eyes, you used a little blend of
This is
marigold
what's in the kit.
in the kit.
It's marigold and
and
water, I think.
Oh, look.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go back to tabby on the cheeks here. And then, yeah, I mean, there's other colors. Like, I'm just trying to keep it simple, but something like buck or red fox or oh, geez, the chestnut, horse coat. Like, there's
Right.
other colors that we have that could work for this project. I was really tempted to grab some of the pelt colors that Sassy made for my for these these guys, because they're gorgeous.
Are you using the tan cores for just the body work or also as fur?
All of the different cores are the body work, the face markings, the staples. They'll be on the feet.
Okay.
Like anywhere that you need structure and to make a shape or like a transition is going to be your core. So like the way that I just put these pieces on, I put them with the center this way. So now I need to make sure I blend that out. So I'll take some core and come off the cheek so that I cover that weird fold. By the time you finish this head is like so stabbed. It is not going anywhere. All right, I'm just going to get one or two on the back top of the head, and then I'll start grooming so that you can see how it changes. So around the features, it's quite stabbed, and then it's like this transition to the floof. But let's do a couple on the back of the head, and then we'll do some grooming. Oh yeah, it's almost 3. Oh my
Somebody
gosh.
asked if you could show how much wool you use to make a little noodle.
Okay.
Less than you think.
Oh yeah, I was taking.
So
I mean,
little.
just
That's-
yeah.
And even that makes.
Yeah, even that is a little chunky. So just the tiniest little. That's it.
Yeah.
That like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kyla. Some of these ones I'm
They're
even
huge.
I'm
Pull
even
in
splitting
half.
in half. Yep. So on the remainder of your tabby, gray, black, orange, whichever, you're going to alternate to make stripes. And this is, these kittens, they're meant to be a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? They're not hyper realistic. So,
Stylized.
yeah, stylized. So if you just put fawn, tabby, it kind of, it's not going to look like defined stripes with this style because we're using fur. And if you really wanted it to be like, see all the stripes, then you would have to use a direct felting technique and a reverse needle probably. And that is a ton of work. I mean, this is too, but that's a ton of work for something that, I don't know. I don't know what you're planning to do with it, but I like to just sort of represent and not worry too much about it being super realistic. Now, I did mention in the tutorial, and I'm doing it now, you can leave a little bit of space between your fur because it is so fuzzy. In other words, I've got about a 1/4 inch between my fur lines. I don't need them right on top of each other. And if you do 2 rows of one color, so I'm doing 2 rows of tabby and then I'll switch, then you'll see the markings a little bit more clearly. Whoops. Thank you for the noodles.
Mm-hmm. Carol said it looks like an African tribal mask at the moment.
Yeah. This is so crazy. And then, so now I'm going to put the fawn in. I wonder, should I try white? I feel like white's too.
Like a really stark
It's
contrast.
too, yeah. This is the fawn tabby mix.
Oh, nice.
Do a little bit of that. Yeah, I mean, once you have some variations of this alpaca and fur on hand, you can go crazy mixing stuff together. Okay, let's do some grooming.
Ooh, grooming's fun.
Mm-hmm. It is fun.
They'll appreciate it.
His ears are in there. Now, be careful that you don't chop your ears off. Oh, he likes it. I feel like my nose is way too wide. I'm going to put a little bit of my lighter orange on the sides of the nose. That looks better. What? Oh my
Cute, he
gosh.
just looks a little angry with you right now.
He looks like a wild monkey.
Mm.
Okay, I've got my hair cutting scissors and thinners, and the first thing I'm going to do is just lop it off. Like, we don't need all of that. Like I said, just watch your ears. You're going to be very sad if you cut his ears off.
If you did cut his ears off,
You got
it's
them in
still
ones.
salvageable. That's the beauty of felting.
Yeah. So I'm just taking all the points off, taking it down to, I guess, about 1 inch long. Throw this, I throw this stuff away. I mean, it's so short, it's hard to reuse. I'm gonna use the reverse needles to now be careful with reverse needling around the eye. Angle your needles in towards the core because you can very easily pull black out, and that will pollute your sculpture. So if I'm near the eye, I want to make sure that I'm angled away from the eyeball. So like this, for example, if I wanted to soften that, I can just pull fiber out, which I do. I think it looks cool. And then same here. I want this to look more like a white stripe coming up. And here.
If you nick the ears, you can just claim he was in a fight.
Yeah. And here. Let's get this. Anywhere these off-white stripes are coming up onto the forehead, I'm going to pull some of this fiber out.
So that's 2 reverse needles and a pen tool.
2 reverse needles and a pen tool. That's a Beck song. Oh, see, I got the black. No black, no black. So now we have lots of layers of floof going on. So now let's take our thinning shears and be fun to try a gray tabby. I haven't done that yet.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do the tail too while we're at it. First, I just want to pull everything out. The shorter you cut it, also, the more distinct the stripes will be. I'm jumping around. I'm sorry. I just wanted to get.
Well, you're on the grooming
This.
demo step.
Yeah. So I'm cutting all the points off. The fur, I feel like, gets a little, because it's so shiny, it gets a little more distinct looking, the chops. So then the alpaca isn't so, plus this is such a bright color.
So now you have thinning shears.
Now I have thinning shears and I'm trying to minimize the chop look. Another thing you can do is with your felting needles, comb everything. And that sort of, the needles kind of grab this, they grab the fur and the alpaca and they'll pull out anything that's loose. They'll pull out anything that's not felted. And that's good. Like, we need that. There's a lot of material on here. So losing a little bit is not a bad thing. Just be careful. You don't break your needles. And then, yeah, and then you can even felt it down a little bit. Go back in. Felt stuff down. We don't need it sticking, straight off his head. So you can go around and kind of like brush it back and felt it down. If you see long spots, go ahead and whoops, yeah. With you can actually really trim a section entirely with the thinning shears. You just have to keep cutting in the same place.
It still gives you less of a blunt cut, which is nice.
Yes,
Yeah.
it gives you less for sure. So like right here, let's say, let me see if I can hold it. So, all right, so this is a little bit long. I can cut it entirely off with this. I just have to do it multiple times. That's how I cut my own hair. Sometimes. That's starting to look like something.
Mm-hmm. Super cute.
It's a process. It's a lot of back and forth. Does anybody have foot or toe bean questions aside from the tutorial? Because I will be winding down here soon. So this is a little bit of a strong color change right here. Yeah, just keep looking at it and make sure he's not a total smush face. I like it. I'm gonna trim it more.
The other faces don't have super long.
The more like detail you do, like I feel like the bigger the kittens. Like look, like this was very simple. I like this one though. It's a little bobblehead cat. So you're gonna make your feet. Watch the tutorial. They're just on the either the face ace or the round part of the Zoli tool, and you just wrap, and then they get all the toe beans, and then once those are on, then you're going to fur and just keep alternating colors.
The belly bellies typically white, or
so the belly, I've been making all my kitten bellies white, but I put pink over the bottom. Because, they got little bald pink bellies.
Mm-hmm.
So while we're finishing up here, I wanted to talk about the cold wax a little bit and answer any questions about that.
Somebody did ask.
Yeah, I did a demo that I shared with the company to show how, for the fiber artists anyway. I haven't used it on a painting. Cold wax medium is for a whole variety of things, and we're just using it in our specific way. So I'm not trying to knock the product as a whole. It just was a big change between what we've been using and love and have somewhat grown dependent on to what the new formula was. And maybe they'll change it again. But it was the old cold wax was able to, it penetrated, it was slick and smooth, it had a lot of body, and I could adhere with it, I could sculpt with it, I could tighten down claws, the talons, beaks, etc. And then the new cold wax was more trying trying to think of a similar consistency. It didn't have as much body.
No, it was like cakier, almost like a eyeshadow in a tin.
Yeah.
Like it didn't flake like powder, but it felt way more flaky powdery than gooey jelly.
And then in application, it wouldn't sink into the wool. It just didn't do what we use it for. So we'll keep you posted. I've gotten a few other products that I'm playing with, and yeah, we'll definitely keep you informed. We hope that we can get it back, in one form or another that works. So I like this. This is more elaborate than this one. It's a little evolution. It was a little step up. So then you'll see this in the tutorial. I put a white shingle on the belly. So Serafina white and white alpaca. And just let the fringe of the alpaca come onto the pink so that it blends it away. I'm going to use the full length of the alpaca. And then you can put a little bit of Serafina white in the center to hold it on.
Diane is from the Netherlands, and she said the changing back was said over here, but now I know from PowerText itself that it will not change back.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we'll see.
Right.
Not that I don't believe you. I believe you. It's all very, still feels very, new, and see. So this gives a real subtle pink belly. I like it a lot. But yeah, everything else you need is in the tutorial. Oh my gosh, its head just got huge. Let's see, what do I need to do? I need to cut all of this shorter. Or felt it down or something. It'd be fun to make one without fur, like one more, like really more realistic. Not more realistic, just tighter, without all the floof, I guess, is what I'm saying. Yeah.
That would be a kitten, not a fuzzy kitten.
Yes, it would just be a kitten.
Floof is fun.
Floof is fun. What else? What else does everybody want to know about? We're going to see you next on the 13th.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fiber Fairy Friday, September 13th.
Mm-hmm.
Your kitten is wincing. It is maybe afraid of the scissors.
Yeah.
Near its ears.
Yeah. You can see its ears again, though. That's good. Oh my gosh, he's cracking me up.
Make some kittens to floof.
I do. Am I going to do it?
Now you started something.
Oh gosh. He doesn't even have all his floof. At least he's got feet, even though they're... And I got some noodles here, so that's good.
These are cute little toe beans on the feet.
Yeah, I accidentally used a weird color. But then I switched.
Oh.
So funny. I like the straight tabby. the straight tabby is a good color. It's doing its job.
So Ingrid is asking, you mentioned fur fiber. Is that a brand of wool that you sell? What is it similar to?
Yes, so fur is a formula of fibers that we created. It's also a technique. So sometimes we say fur, we mean, that you're applying using the fur technique, meaning all the fiber is sticking off. But we blended long, staple, smooth fibers that don't felt easily, so that when you apply fur or use fur, it stays brushable and doesn't felt. So on the Serafina website, you will see a page specifically for fur. So fur, plumage, horse pelts, or horse coats, pelts, they're all of those groupings have specific fiber content formulas for what they're used for. Yeah.
So Anne Gordon is saying, would clear gesso work to put over felt to make a small turtle shell waxy?
Will you grab the there's a piece of black pre-felt behind you.
I'll go back overhead.
Thanks, Talbot. So one of the things that I'm playing with is, I like the white background.
It does look good.
I don't know, it's very sophisticated. This is a clear acrylic gel medium on here. On this side, it's got 2 coats, this part. And I put it on and I put another piece of pre-felt on it and then brushed it. And so it's all stuck together and it's still malleable. So I'm pretty happy with that. Then on this side, where it's a little more shiny, I put an oil-based cold wax medium on top of it, which it's a thin coat just to shine it up. It didn't take long, and it didn't take that long to dry. So there are options. Yeah, I feel like this could definitely work on a turtle shell, more so than when we tried the PowerTex wax combo. It was like we lost way too much color.
It doled out.
So I would be curious. But I don't have these products yet. But we're gonna figure out whether we carry something or put it on the goods and faves. Or thank you. Yep. But clear gesso, I don't know how gesso would behave. Yeah. I mean, if you have stuff on hand, just experiment. That's what I do. Like,
don't put it on your favorite turtle shell.
Don't put it on your favorite turtle shell. Oh my gosh. I am in love with this little kitten. I got to make sure I keep the rest of it small. I like how bright it is compared to that one.
Cute.
I feel like I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I feel like I got you here. Everybody's here. What can we talk about?
It's almost the weekend.
Yeah.
It is.
Labor Day weekend. I hope everybody has something fun planned. We're off on Monday, so if you order today, you won't get it shipped until Tuesday. Yeah, I'll see you on September 13th. We have something really fun planned for the end of October, and some new fiber color combos, and a few things up our sleeve. So I'm really looking forward to the fall and all that we're able to do together, especially the October Fiber Fairy.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be a good one.
Cool.
Anything else?
Just
No.
people saying thanks.
Thanks, you guys. Thanks so much. I love doing this, and